Creator of the Randonauts. How you doing? My name is Joshua Langfelder. I created the Randonauts. My company created Randonautica, the viral app. I'm here today to do a live stream with you, and we're going to review some of the craziest content and craziest YouTube videos that's out there. So I'm going to be joined with my friend Derek, who's like kind of a behind the scenes guy. He is involved in the reality TV show. And any updates about the app? We have the Pro subscription now. So if you are a Pro subscriber, you get unlimited anomalies and you get to set your radius from anywhere in the world. And then also for the Pro Randonaut subscribers, we have a special group that's just all subscribers, because sometimes people just like to watch Randonautica content and stuff, but they're not actually Randonauts. And this is a place for people who are actively randonauting to kind of get together and talk to each other and share their synchronicities. It's really beautiful thing. So I'm bringing on Derek. How you doing, Derek?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
Doing well, man. We had a really crazy, busy week, but thankfully it's almost the weekend, and we're gonna have a huge party by ourselves in my house.
Heck yeah, man. I see you're all decked out in the Randonaut
In the
swag.
Randonaut gear. Yeah,
Dripping,
we have,
dude.
Yeah, I legitimately love this sweatshirt, and we have the beanies, and also these T-shirts that say Randonaut, and in the middle is like an owl. And this is like really cool because like other Randonauts can recognize you when they see you wearing them. We also have these pins that are available. You can see that.
There you
these
go.
pins, yeah, and
fresh.
Special for all our people watching the live stream. If you use the promo code OWLS, you get $5 off. So go to randonautica.com and go to our shop page, and it'll send you to our shop. And we have a special promo going where anyone who buys merch gets 333 owl tokens for free. So yeah, that's awesome. I love it.
That's very cool. Who wouldn't want some more owl tokens?
Yeah, they come in handy.
Humor for you.
Come in handy when you need some anomalies in your life.
For sure, man. Well, I'm excited to get started, dude.
Yeah, I'm excited. So the way this works is we have all of this edited pre-edited by our producer, and we have not seen any of these videos. So this is like our legitimate reaction. And I haven't personally seen a lot of the YouTube content. I'm busy like running a business and writing books and stuff. So I haven't actually gotten a chance to see a lot of the trip reports people have taken and taken on videos. So I'm actually excited, and maybe we'll debunk some fake false claims, and we'll learn something, and maybe see a surprising thing. So yeah, this is the official guide to Randonautica. This is what we've been working on all year. I have my first copy here. I'm so proud of it. Me and my co-founder, Auburn Salcido, spent months working on this. This has all of the secrets of Randonautica. It has all of the history and like how it came to be, and some of the studies that inspired Randonautica, and like the technology behind it, as well as the spirituality. And it goes into the spiritual side, and like how like Randonautica relates to like the alchemists of old, and like mysticism, and like what we're doing is totally new, but it's reflected throughout history and throughout the ages by many mystics. Well, we're doing a promotion because we're trying to get a lot of pre-orders for this book. So if you pre-order the official guide to Randonautica, you will get, this is for first-time subscribers. If you pre-order, you will get 3 months free subscription. So that's over a $20 value. So go ahead and pre-order the book. So it'll come out this summer, and you'll already be ready to read it. And you'll get 3 months free subscribers for the first-time subscribers. So yeah, we're super excited about the book. So it's published by Simon & Schuster, where they're a top 5 publisher. It's gonna like be in stores and stuff. It's like really crazy. Like I'm gonna be like in libraries and stuff, like like someday some guy is gonna be going through his uncle's closet and finds this book in the dusty bin or something, and he's like,
they're going to use the Dewey Decimal System and then find you. That's kind of pretty crazy. Do they still do that? I don't know.
What's really cool is that like in the back of the book is actually a log, so you can actually log your synchronicities, because a lot of times I find sometimes you get to a point and you're like, oh, there's nothing here, but if you take notes later down the line, your trips kind of start adding up to a narrative, and like it'll start to make sense. So if you take notes in the back of the guide to Randonautica, maybe some points that you thought were a dud would actually be synchronicities. You just didn't notice it first. So the question is, what are the chances of getting a pin for free? So we do have sweepstakes that we do every once in a while, and giveaways. I will say this: if you submit a trip report to Randonaut Radar, so you go on a trip, you experience your journey, and you write it up and you post it on social media with the hashtag Randonaut Radar. If you are picked, there is a chance, and you make it onto the newsletter of the Randonaut Radar, there is a chance that we would send you a pin for free. This is not a guarantee, but if we really like your trip report, and we could just tell you're a real Randonaut, and you like submitted a trip report and it made it into the newsletter and people enjoy it, there is a chance that I'll send you one for free. So yeah.
Free stuff rules.
Yeah, free stuff is awesome. So let's just jump right into it. I haven't seen this video.
Neither have I.
I'm excited to see what it's going to be.
So we decided to play Randonautica, and it took us to this random detention center. It's just kind of a dead end back here, and immediately it rerouted us, and she got a text from a random ass number that said, "Are you real?" And we decided to come back to check it out, and it just says real.
Pause it there for a second.
Pee pee poo poo.
Perfect place to pause. But yeah, that's very common that people will get dead ends. And it's because you're going outside of the stasis field, or you're going outside of your normal routine. And these are places that people usually wouldn't end up. So it's like a dead end. So it took them to a place where people normally wouldn't go, you know? So it's like dead end. But that's so interesting that they got that text that said, "Are you real?"
Yeah, and then the real's written right there on the overpass.
That's kind of funky, man. That's a little creepy, man. That's pretty crazy.
Out, and it just says real.
So that's what we call talking walls.
Pee pee poo poo.
So talking walls. Okay, so not the pee pee poo poo part, but
not the pee pee poo poo, but the talking walls. So if you get to a point and there's like some meaningful graffiti, or it can be anything written, it's like the universe is kind of like reaching out and speaking to you. Like, people have had really weird trips. Like this one girl, she went randonauting, and in the pavement, in the wet pavement, someone had written two names. I think it was like Daisy and Rocky. Well, those two names ended up being the names of her two cats. So Randonautica somehow like measures your consciousness and brings you to places that are personally meaningful or significant, or there's a possibility that it does. It increases your probability that you find an interesting geographic location that's, you know, personally significant or meaningful. So yeah, that's a perfect example of talking walls effect. So keep an eye out for talking walls, because you never know.
Yeah, look around and kind of just keep your eyes peeled. You never know what's going to come through. Looks like our very own Auburn has a question here. Does Randonautica send people text messages? Are you stalking people? I think it's a common misconception that people have when they're first starting this, that like we have anything to do with what they find. Like a Randonautica person, like what do you want to say about that, Joshua? Because that pops up quite a bit in some of the other videos that we've seen before about like they happen to think that we have like Randonautica people like all over the world, like following people and locations and stuff.
I'm just wondering, like, what hypothetically, if someone were to do that, why would they do that? Like, what would their intentions be? And you always hear like, "Oh, I got followed," but like, there's never any conclusion to it. It's just always just like, "Oh, they hacked my phone," or "I got a weird text message," like, but nothing ends up. So like, we employ an army of stalkers who just do nothing but freak you out. Like, it's like we were talking about last time. It's a classic symptom of paranoia where you think you're being watched or followed. So that's why we always suggest to go into it with like high vibes and high intent, because you know, you don't want to go into a reality tunnel where you're all paranoid and scared and looking over your shoulder of some you know, axe murderer that doesn't actually exist. People like project their imaginary villain onto Randonautica. It really represents their fear of the unknown. That's what it actually is. It like manifests their fear of the unknown.
Now we know that, I mean, it's hard. We see a lot of videos and some of them are like, most of them are very legit, but some of them, sometimes you kind of watch something and it seems staged for the views.
Yeah.
So
this one,
like, is it possibility that they faked the text message after coming to that location, seeing that it said real graffitied up on the wall, and then fake that text message?
It's like from Zucchero 45 VB. It looks just like a throwaway email. Like they just like created an email. Like, yeah, this one totally does seem fake. So it doesn't look like an actual example of talking walls. Like they may have actually gone randonauting and found that real thing, and then they probably like were being slick trying to find, you know, trying to get attention and trying to get views. And like, no, we don't text people. Like we have a newsletter. Like we would just email you a legitimate thing if we wanted to talk to you. Like I don't even think we have access to people's phone numbers. Like Yeah. So
IESXS asks, that was hard to say. Good Lord. People get stalked buying groceries. No surprise of getting stalked while randonauting.
well, right. And yeah, people get stalked all the time in the world. I had a stalker once, and it's like really nothing to joke about. It's actually really scary. And so this is something that people who have actually gotten stalked before, they always come to me and they're like, I can't believe these kids are just like taking it like not seriously. Like we actually had someone email us our support form and they were like, how can I get stalked? I want to get stalked. And it's like, whoa, this is way too much.
I think you have to like, you take out a Craigslist ad if you want something like that. I'm sure there's somebody who like looking to answer that for you if you're in that king.
We do not condone this kind of dangerous behavior like this. These are obviously children who are like thrill seekers who don't know any better, because if you've had a stalker before, you know, that's not something you want. And that's not something you want to invite into your life. So yeah, people in the real world, especially when you're just like, you're out and you're randonauting and you're at a place you shouldn't be and you're possibly trespassing. I think sometimes people invite this onto themselves because they're like kind of acting shady or they're like trespassing. And so maybe someone follows them because they're like, what is this person doing? They're going to, you know, random houses, you know, and kind of looking suspicious. So I think maybe people do end up getting followed by someone because they're sticking out like a sore thumb, trespassing and just like being places they shouldn't be. Like I know there's a famous YouTube video of these girls in the car. They're like screaming and there's this guy with a flashlight and he hits their car. It's because they were trespassing on his land.
Don't trespass.
So always be like practicing situational awareness and know where you're going. And yeah, if you like just rolled up on somebody's, I live in the country. So if you just rolled up on somebody's land here, you'd be lucky to get hit with a flashlight. Like people will shoot you out here if you go into their field. So always practice situational awareness. We just give you a random point. That doesn't mean you have to go there. It's actually the whole journey that's random. So, you know, just go as close as possible. And if it's an inaccessible area, please, for the love of God, just get as close as possible and then move on to the next one.
Sometimes I feel like that could also be an answer, because I've been on, done some camera work on some of like the Randonautica things. And we had an example of a woman who was looking for love. And she says couldn't find it, whatever. Like that was a big thing for her. She was always trying to find love, whatever. And we went on 3 different points for her, and every point, a different reason was blocking her from getting that location. And she looked at it and took it as, this is a sign. This is about. I mean, her first spot was literally like there was like a just trash in like a swampy
like a drainage
or whatever.
Ditch.
And she's like, I can name pieces of trash in here. Like these are people that I want on. So sometimes even if you can't get to the location. Like maybe that's a sign, part of your intention.
It could be part of the symbology. Like you said, like she was having trouble dating and it took her to like a swamp, and she was like, yes, this is my dating life right here. So Jennifer Sample said, my sister asked about stalkers planting things. Who has the time to go plant a random yellow boat on a road I hadn't noticed before within 20 minutes? Intention was yellow. So yeah, like it's just extremely unreasonable. Like we have a hard enough time just managing our small team of people. Like we have a hard enough time just like, you know, putting this studio together. Like
it takes our entire team to run this current stream now.
Yeah, exactly.
We're barely scraping by on it.
Exactly.
So we don't have people out there planting boats in places. Oh, there she is now.
Yeah, there she is. So this is on the Radio Randonaut reality TV show. And yeah, she asked for a sign about love, and it took her to this swamp, which like symbolically totally summed up her dating life. And there she is, like pointing towards, yep, there's the garbage I dated. Oh, there's another trash algae boy that I dated.
Yep, there's Steve, there's funny. Jeremy, there's Derek, there's John.
Exactly. That was such an entertaining episode. If you haven't seen it, the pilot is available on YouTube. You should go watch it.
Yeah, check it out. It's worth the watch.
Definitely worth the watch. So let's just check out the second video we got this week.
On your, I'm recording it.
Left a little bit because we're literally right by it.
This side too.
What is it?
Oh my god.
Guys, I don't want to like dry it. A little bit more that way. It's literally right there. What?
Are your brights on? Can you turn your brights on?
Oh shit.
Texas,
There's like a big pool of water over there.
Yeah, don't go over there. Just stay here. Don't move.
Should we get out?
Yeah, we should.
Holy fucking shit!
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so pause it. So this was the video I was referring to earlier.
Okay.
This just goes to show that I have not seen these videos yet. Yeah, this is the video I saw earlier. Like, so they're obviously somewhere they shouldn't have been. I know the story. They like turned onto a private road. You always have to practice situational awareness because not every road is public. Some of them lead to someone's house. So these people were randonauting and they were not following the core tenets of Randonautica and they were trespassing. And what do you know? The guy who owned the land got pissed off at him for being on their land. And I mean, that's well within his rights. They're, you know, kind of lucky that all he did was shine the flashlight and hit their car. Well, let's see what happens.
Go. Stop. Just go. Just leave. Go. That was someone on the other side. That was someone on the other side.
You can see. Yeah, thank God they didn't get out of the car. So obviously they were trespassing.
And they're they're laughing it off like it was. Guys, don't.
They're obviously being very immature. They were not being mature, responsible randonauts, and they turned down the wrong road. And they told me that they didn't know that they were trespassing, but that's the whole situational awareness thing. And that's another reason you should not go randonauting at night, because what if there's a sign that says, "Don't trespass here or I'll shoot you," and then you miss it because it's nighttime and you didn't see it. This is why you always have to pay attention and make sure you don't go on private property. So I remember when this video came out and people were like using it as proof that like you get stalked when you use Randonautica. It's like, no. You entered someone's private land and you got the consequences for you breaking the law. And like,
this app is so crazy. I went to someone's house and someone was inside.
Yeah.
No, that's not us. That's you going on someone's property.
Would you want someone just like these crazy teenage girls on your land screaming in the middle of the night, laughing like he was pissed because they were invading his privacy? Like, it's just so funny. Like, they were accusing us of stalking them, but really they were kind of stalking him. You know, they were not invited. And they just went there. So this is another thing. We just give you a random point. Get as close as possible, but do not trespass. Like, respect people's property, you know? And if you go to a place and you're allowed there, leave it better than you found it. Bring a trash bag, clean up after yourself, clean up other people's garbage. It's good for the earth. It's good karma, and it's good camouflage. Where do you find the videos? So we should have all the videos listed in the stream info. So you can find all the videos in the stream info links below. But yeah, that's crazy that this was exactly the example I was talking about.
Yeah. So
yeah, we don't have stalkers. People end up putting themselves in situations where, you know, it's bad for them. So be a responsible randonaut. Don't trespass. You know, keep your eyes open. Don't go down private roads. Stay on public property.
Common sense, people. Come on.
Common sense, which obviously is not so common. And people are just like, how could you do this to me? How could you do this to me? It's like, what about your personal responsibility? You know, I didn't do anything. I just gave you a random point. Like, is Google Maps liable for giving you the directions there? Like, no, they're not. So,
it reminds me of that episode of The Office when Michael and Dwight are driving somewhere, and Michael's driving, and the GPS tells him to go through this lake, and he just drives into the lake. It's like, come on, guys, common sense. Don't.
That's exactly what it is. If you have a point in the lake, don't just drive into the lake. So yeah,
got a summary, or if that Miss Samples earlier, if you happen to find that yellow boat in the middle of nowhere, maybe use the boat to go in the middle of the lake.
Someone has actually gone in the middle of a lake and gone scuba diving actually to see. That's a hardcore randonaut right there. So we have I don't know, just the
More trouble.
experience. Yeah.
Angry
But
barracuda that was
that's pretty
upset that they were
cool to
trespassing.
go to a random point underwater. Like that's pretty hardcore random. That's way outside of the stasis field. So Hope Doomer has a comment. I once went randonauting. Intention was something that doesn't belong. And beside my point was a bench stuck in a tree. Never seen that before. Yeah, that certainly counts as anomalous. Like that's classic Randonautica content right there. Just stuff that makes you scratch your head and go, what is going on there? Like the tree probably grew into the bench, but
Like,
that's
yeah,
like
that
a
must have been
very
an old
special
bench.
thing. Yeah, like that's a very like that. If you find something like that, post it on Randonaut Radar hashtag, because this is the kind of content we're interested in. Not like these fake scary videos, but like actually like weird, mysterious stuff that you're just like, how does that end up there? It's so weird.
And that's something you can't fake.
No, yeah, you can't fake.
Yeah,
So
David pulled up our
Good one.
SXS says the
Yeah.
office randonauting before it was cool.
This is
They
a
called it,
perfect example of like people not taking personal responsibility for themselves. They're like, but you generated a point and I went there and I got in trouble. How could you? It's like, no, you chose to trespass. You chose to go to that point. You know, we just offer a random point. It's up to you and your personal responsibility. I know that sounds crazy to a lot of you, but you have to be personally responsible for yourself when you go randonauting and practice situational awareness. So Jennifer Sample says, when I look for a sign about love, I came to a sign that said, keep out bitches with a heart. Like, come on now. Yeah, for some reason, Randonautica has like the funniest sense of humor. Like, that's how I know there's like something in it. Like, it always seems to have such a sense of humor.
It was pretty old and rusty.
Not likely. That's pretty funny for one that for love, keep out bitches. I guess that was kind of a jaded anomaly.
Yeah. I like the comments, guys. Keep them coming. Let us know.
Yeah, I love it.
Your experiences and stuff like that. We love hearing about them.
Great.
Cool. Looks like we got the third video ready to go. So let's check it out.
All right, guys, welcome. Today we're going to be doing another Randonautica video. It's going to be different this time. We're going to let my subscribers choose our intentions, where we're going to be going. So I picked some comments from a few of the last episodes. If you guys haven't seen them, I'll leave them in the description down below. Other than that, I am with my girlfriend Brooklyn once again, of course. So let's get started with our first intention, which is going to be finding a doomsday bunker, or having the intention of a doomsday event, doomsday bunker in general, just something along those lines. So let's get started. All right, so we're doing a tractor.
So that's that was our old beta version of the app. The new app looks different.
Where are we?
So if you download Randonautica and it doesn't look like that, don't worry.
Just floating around on the map. It's taking forever.
That was our beta version.
What the? Really close. And again, actually, right in the middle of nowhere. All right, guys, we just pulled up. Ooh, little song there. We just pulled up to the spot. It's actually cool. It's in another field right by the river. There's a path that we can head down. Now, I will admit, it's not exactly, once again, where it told us. It's a driveway. It was like a direct private driveway for like probably, I don't know, 1/10 of a mile. So we went right up the road and we parked here. So we're basically in the same spot, but let's check it out. But yeah, check it out. So here we are, and there's a path right over here. So let's take it and see what happens.
So like being guided into this mysterious path, I've definitely had some weird things happen when you get guided. So they're using their intuition here a little bit. They see the path, they're being guided onto the path.
It's either a lake first or it's just the river already.
This looks a lot like where I found the original drum that I found the first time
really?
I used a tractor. Yeah.
That's nice.
What's that?
So
it's beautiful.
there's a stream going down there. Yeah, I think this is. What is this? This isn't the Willamette, is it? It's some other little stream side, huh? Interesting little
Doomsday
spot. Really nice.
bunker.
We're gonna keep
Curious.
walking down the
They
path
gotta
a
go
little more
around?
to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
If there's anything
I
else
really
to
want to
see.
know if they
And
get the
up
Doomsday
here,
bunker.
toward the end of the trail, we see a private property sign.
Don't cross it.
Imagine this is our bunker.
Yeah. Yeah, you especially don't want to trespass on someone's doomsday bunker. That sounds like a especially horrible idea.
Because they're prepared for you.
Yeah.
Down here, while the stream picks up, the river rather.
They've got
Beautiful
weapons
stream.
and goods.
It really does.
Yeah.
private property. So it led us to this really forested area.
It is
where
a
you can't
doomsday
see
bunker.
much.
It's a good
There's
location. You got
house
the
back
fresh
there,
water
I
right
think.
there.
Maybe
Yeah.
a shelter, a bunker, who knows? Oh wait, what is that? What is that actually? Look at this. What is back there, guys? What is that?
I don't.
What is
I really
it?
can't tell. It
It looks like an elephant or something.
looks like, I'm not kidding, it looks like a little bunker thing.
I see what he's talking about. Like a little. It's like a little.
Oh, like a
hobbit
little
hole.
house, like a little hobbit
It's all
house.
covered up by
Yeah, or
grass.
like where the Teletubbies live
It
or
looks like
something.
someone trying to cover
So they
some
found a little
entrance.
shelter.
It doesn't
Interesting.
look like a car.
Intention
Guys, no way,
fulfilled.
right behind me there. It's gonna be hard to reverse it. Oh man, you probably aren't gonna be able to see it with this view. Oh, there it was. So right about here. What is that, man?
I love
Something
this
definitely
feeling.
covered up
Yeah.
by bushes and leaves and everything. I thought it was a truck at first, but it looks like something's been covered up, and it looks like a building, a little entrance to something.
Oh boy is right.
Where have we just been led? Out in the clearing? I don't think that's a car. Even if it is, it could be a shelter, a makeshift thing. But I think it's a bunker. I think we've been led literally to a little private area at the end of this road, or rather this little trail loop. And right there,
I wish he was able to
See
zoom
it.
in more.
Zoom in more, yeah,
Like-
so we could see it.
covered in
Yeah.
brush.
Oh, thanks. But like more like it. Yeah, like if you had like a better.
bunker.
So he did find
I
a
don't
little
believe it, man.
bunker.
I don't.
That's
believe
crazy.
It, that it just led us here.
If that's what that is. Yeah. I mean, it looks like it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, he can tell better than we can.
Well, yeah, and his reaction seems very genuine. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
seem like
You
he's
have to
putting it
come see
on.
this. I'm not kidding. Look at what's covered in.
It's good. He's
Is she
going in
not-
groups,
Leaves and
especially when
brush
you're in the
over
woods. It's a good idea to have
There
someone
is
with
something
you.
covered there.
Yeah.
What is
Not
it?
gonna lie, I might get closer to that one.
Yeah,
we
we-
Stephanie Richardson.
Yeah.
Well,
Definitely.
She doesn't exactly have.
closer, but not
Which one?
past the
Even though she's wearing
private property
contacts.
sign for sure.
Yeah, yeah. The girl was
Something.
taking
It's a little bit
selfies in the
different.
background. That's hilarious.
don't
She's
like
like,
the
I don't care about the bunker. I like the river.
It looks like way too slanted. You know, like old mines. Oh god. You know, like old mines, how the mine shaft kind of goes like that to indicate it goes down. I don't think it's
Lauren
mine.
says she feels like she's on a journey with this dude. I feel
Yeah,
like I'm on a
he's
journey. with him, too.
into it.
That's
Like you
weird.
can tell,
That is
he's
weird.
like
That is
into
very
it.
weird.
He's got a nice, smooth narrating voice.
Yeah, I
I mean,
like that one.
Yeah. He had a look though, like he was in disguise. I feel like his like he just has like the vibe he gives off. And like this guy looks like he's like disguised as somebody else almost. But like I like it. Yeah, he's got a good narrative voice.
Yeah,
Gives him
so
a follow.
They set
him
their
out.
intention for Doomsday Bunker, and they found like a really weird shelter in the woods. Like
Yeah.
those are my favorite. Those can be so creepy because you like never know what or who is living in there. Like that's why you should be careful. One time I went randonauting and I found like an ad hoc shelter like that, and there was actually somebody sleeping in there. Like it was like somebody's house. Like it was under a train track bridge. Like we were cool. I didn't disturb them or anything, but like it was a bit spooky finding like a ad hoc hobo shelter. So
Yeah, I think that's another important thing. Even if it's not like private posted private property or like a house or something like that. If it looks like someone could possibly living in there, don't go
Right.
in there either because whoever's in there, like you just don't
they're
know the
hard on their
situation.
luck. Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't want to mess with that. So yeah, he found like a bunker looking thing, like a shelter, like a weird shelter that's like all covered with leaves. That's pretty interesting. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a doomsday bunker, but
Yeah,
definitely some kind of shelter. It definitely
Shelter or
picked
like
up
a
on that.
fort or something from like kids made or it's out of place for that area for sure.
Yeah.
Like, it draws some
Yeah.
attention. So who knows?
What was it? What was it indeed? You guys tell us what you think it is. Leave it in
Yeah,
the
if you have
comment
any other
below.
theories, yeah, that'd be.
Yeah, I love. Everybody's got their own pet theory. I think it's like one of the funnest part of Randonautica is like we kind of know how it works, but I love hearing people's theories of like how it works. Like, oh, we're listening to you, or they've got stalkers, or like someone made a good point about like the stalker thing. They were like, if you guys have the ability to go place little trinkets all around the globe, like doesn't that basically make you Santa Claus? And I was like, that's a good point. Like. So maybe some year you won't be Santa Claus leaving Christmas presents under the tree. It'll be Randonautica.
Yeah. Randonautica
All
does
right.
not condone going down chimneys though. So
Yeah. Randonaut video of the week number 4. Let's see what it is.
So I just really made a really like difficult life decision to give up my dream school, like my top tier dream school that I got into, and to go to my state school just because of Corona and stuff. Whole ordeal, doesn't matter. But I decided to go randonauting. You know, that whole trend that's going on TikTok. And I went with the intent to, you know, get closure to make sure that I like made the right decision.
That's a good one.
Oh, and by the way, the decision is to go to Kansas University. And let me show you. Let me show you where I fucking... So I got taken to this weird-ass park.
Can we pause it for a second before we
weird.
see what it is? So this is a really good intention because like it's not something so specific, you know, it was pretty open-ended. Like she just wants closure on making the right decision. Like I feel like if you leave open-ended intent, you leave more room for the universe to move because what you're doing is you're actually influencing probabilities. So if there is no chest of golden treasures in your radius, you're not going to find that because the probability of finding it is 0. But if there is something that has something to do with your intent, you're actually influencing probabilities and you're actually training yourself to become lucky. So let's see what she found. She used an open-ended intent. Let's see how close she gets to the intent.
Before we play, do you think that's similar to outside of randonauting, just people being like, I need an answer. Like they're stuck in some kind of, they don't know what to do. And like everyone is at some point is like, just give me a sign.
Give me a sign.
Whatever they're
yeah,
exactly.
Exactly that and like how gamblers feel hot and cold, like this is a hot table, this is a cold table. They're actually sensing their ability to influence probabilities. This kind of works the same way. So when you're randonauting, you're actually training yourself to become lucky. So let's see what you found.
First I saw this horse, I'm like, what the fuck? Why? But a KU is literally carved into the grass.
KU.
Wow.
So that was the
university.
That was the university that she ended up going to, like, right? Because
that was her.
She had a university she wanted to go to.
Got taken to, made the right decision. Doesn't matter. But I decided to go randonauting. You know, that whole trend that's going on TikTok. And I went with the intent to, you know, get closure to state school just because of Corona and stuff.
Okay.
Whole university.
What was that?
So Kansas University.
Kansas University.
Okay, so because she was going to go to, she wanted to go to a different school, but because of Corona, she decided to go to a state school. So
yeah,
she was seeing if she made the right decision, and it took her to the initials of that school, Kansas University. Wow. That's pretty on the nose.
That's pretty crazy.
I would say intention fulfilled. But why is there a KU there? Like who put it? Like I'm just thinking about like the guy that mowed that lawn. Like why?
And he went to Kansas U?
What was he thinking? Yeah, like why? That's what I always think about. Like,
are they in Kansas or? Aubrey wants to know, did she open the door with both feet?
I think she did.
I feel like she was filming with her feet too. The way she had it framed, like her shot looks like this, like the entire time. Like, oh my God, I want to set my intention for blah, blah, blah. Guys, if you're going to film yourself, like selfie-wise, just little tilt the camera down a little bit. Get your head up a little higher. It drives me crazy.
Where I fucking... So I got taken to this...
I think she did. She opened with both feet. Hold on.
Got taken to this
wow
weird-ass park.
So she's definitely an interesting idiosyncratic individual just in general. So I find that like Randonautica definitely like works better with like kind of out there kind of people who are willing to do things differently. Like I think Randonautica attracts people who like, you know, do things a little different. So, you know, if you open the door with both your feet, go ahead. Okay, Tyler 1799. He says, I keep finding foil balloons on my randonauts. So believe it or not, the balloon meme is definitely a thing. It actually started like on our first birthday. We did a group randonauting intention for people to find balloons. And after that, people started finding balloons all over the place.
We just had three people, and someone before her. We just had like a bunch of people just comment about foil balloons at the same time.
Yeah,
foil balloons.
I guess they have something to do with Hellier. Yeah, so there's definitely like a balloon meme. It's very common. So yeah, that last video, I think she definitely got her intention fulfilled of whether she made the right decision or not. I wonder how she's doing now.
Yeah. So the things with like the foil balloons, people are like, do you think it's as big of a deal that people are making it, or are they just inflating the story?
I mean, it's whatever the significance is to you. You know what I mean? Like it could be inflated or it could be, real. There's no way to know. It's what it means to you.
Poor attempt at a balloon pun. Inflating.
Yeah. No, I got it. It was punny. Very punny.
Thanks. I'm a little rusty. Been in quarantine too long. So like what else? Like, so what about like the foil balloons? Like, what more can you tell me about that? Because this is my first time.
So they have one in our tree, and I just walked outside, and it's gone after 3 weeks. So like when we had our first birthday, we set a group intention to find balloons, and then this was so weird. Like the day we all were going to go randonauting together and look for balloons, a balloon just rolled up and was in my front yard, just like came to me. Like I was like, I hadn't even gone randonauting yet. And then I went randonauting with a friend, and we went to a place and found this bar that was only open during that time on a Saturday. So like we found like just like a secret bar that was only open when we decided to randonaut. And when we were there, we saw balloons in the sky. So yeah, there's definitely like a thing with balloons and randonauting. I don't really know what it is, but maybe it's because they fly high and they're light and malleable, and yeah, they kind of represent Randonautica in that way. Like they can see more of the earth. Like when you randonaut, you get a higher vantage point on your surroundings. So a balloon, like an eagle, gets like a higher vantage point. Yeah, it's like that. So
okay,
let's
cool.
bring up some questions.
There you go. I always have a good result after I find balloons on route. Wow. So that's good, like a little sign there from Tyler.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, if we have some questions from anyone.
Okay, so this is a really good question. So from Slaymando1 on TikTok. Hey there. I'm curious what inspired your use of an owl as your logo. Well, this is a really, really good story. I could like go into this for hours, but let's just get started. So the owl meme, it kind of like just formed itself almost. Like we didn't really choose it. It kind of chose us. So it started like way back a few years ago when Randonautica first started, and it was just like a small piece of software that only a few hundred people used. People started noticing owls, and like it became such a thing, like people noticing owls and posting the owls, that like all of a sudden all over the world people were finding owls. And the funny thing was that one of our developers actually had gone randonauting, and he bought an owl statue. And while he was like moving this bookshelf around, he put that owl statue on the server that was actually hosting Randonautica at the time, just totally absentmindedly. And he didn't even notice that he did that until after the owl meme became like all crazy, like, and people started finding owls everywhere. So people started finding owls everywhere. And then we find out that our developer had just absentmindedly put an owl statue on the actual physical server that was hosting the app at the time.
Have we tried that with anything else besides an owl statue, putting anything else on top of the server?
Yes. So we tried it with a meteorite because we wanted to manifest UFOs. And so I put the meteorite on there, and indeed people started finding UFOs. I have one video of like, it doesn't have to be aliens necessarily. Unidentified flying object could be a plate flying at your head. You know what I mean? But like someone found like, it was like maybe a drone or something. It was like a triangle pyramid shape, but it was like his first randonaut point. And that was while we had that meteorite. And then we've also had someone take a picture of a UFO. It looked like just a tiny white blip in the sky. And then another person shared one with me, but they asked me to not share it with anyone else. And it was, again, like it looked like a little flying saucer, just a tiny white blip in the sky. I've actually seen a UFO personally in Crestone, Colorado, where there's supposedly an underground alien base. I went last year. That's actually a really interesting story itself. I went to the UFO watchtower in Colorado to chase UFOs because I read this book, The Cosmic Pulse of Life by Trevor James Constable. Well, it took me to this UFO watchtower where people go camp, and like there's supposedly this underground base where they watch like fighter jets like chase UFOs and stuff. And like there's like a shrine to the UFO gods, and people go leave stuff at this shrine. So I didn't see a UFO then, but I went randonauting in Colorado Springs. And where does it take me? I go to the Red Rocks, whatever. There's like some red rock formation there. I forget what it's called. And I generated my point. And where does it take me but this place called the Burrowing Owl, which was a vegan restaurant in Colorado Springs. And at the time, before we had this logo, our old logo was actually a burrowing owl. And we chose that owl because it's a social owl. And so like Randonautica literally took me to the Burrowing Owl, which was our logo. And I walked in there and they were kind of like, this place is for like regulars, basically, like only regulars come here. Like, how did you find it? And I was like, well, I have this app with an owl logo and it led me here. And like I met a woman there who actually told me about these healing vortexes because my intention was to find out more about the city and figure out what to do because I didn't really have any plans. So she actually ended up telling me about these healing vortexes and telling me about Crestone. Flash forward a year later, I went back to Colorado with my girlfriend and we actually saw a UFO there. But I want to go more about the owls. Owls represent wisdom and they represent hidden knowledge. So they see in the dark. So when you randonaut, you're kind of symbolically seeing in the dark because you're like venturing to places outside of your conscious awareness and you're actually finding out stuff, you know, that you would never have found out before. So like when you randonaut, you're becoming wise like an owl, basically. And they're also a symbol of transformation and change because like once you start randonauting and you start paying attention, you're learning more about your surroundings. You're like being initiated into randomness. And it's like literally you're on the path to wisdom and knowledge because you're learning more about your environment. So that's why the owl logo is like, it chose us. Like we had no choice in the matter, basically. It just like stuck.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. All right, what else we got from so Jennifer Samples here says, I've seen quite a few UFOs. I feel like if I set my intention for one, I'll undoubtedly find one. I'm in rural ass Virginia too. Want to go?
Yeah, I've actually heard a lot of people wanting people to go randonauting in rural Virginia. Like, I guess there's something going on there. A contact experience where you actually go out and invite the UFOs yourself. It's called CE5. Like there's like a movie about it but there's like different levels of contact. And so a contact when you actually like go, okay, aliens, I want to see you, which is like actually how I saw mine. I was like, thank you. I had an epiphany and I was like, thank you, aliens. And my girlfriend was like, you want to come outside and see this? And there was like a flying saucer, like hovering like by a cloud. So yeah, they're definitely out there. Who knows what they are or what their purpose is, but yeah, people have seen them randonauting. And yeah, if you set your intention, actually one of our randonauts, Val, she found a kind of UFO. She saw numbers in the sky. Her intent was to just find a nice place to sit and watch the stars. And she has the video of it. It's like unexplainable. It's on our Twitter. It's actually in the newsletter somewhere, but there's like, it looks like numbers in the sky, like 995. Like, so it's interesting. Like that would count as a UFO just because it's unidentified flying object. That's pretty interesting.
So Iron Dogger here says, I have yet to have any results, no matter how often or how many people go. What would you say to someone who's maybe new at it, maybe hasn't had the experiences other people have had? Do you think it's something that they're not focusing themselves on the intention, or could it be something else?
Could be a number of things. What I suggest is to go to a place that you've never been before when you start. Because if you're just randonauting in your neighborhood, you're more likely to have already seen all that stuff. So like travel to a town over or something, or go to a place where it's like really artsy and there's like a lot of graffiti and stuff like that. And then start from a new location. So like it's automatically novel. another thing is you kind of have to reframe your expectations. Like the first time I used Randonautica, I literally thought like a portal was going to open and the MIB were going to come out and debrief me. Like that's not what happened. But I did find a sign that said the Garden of Inspiration, which for a first Randonaut point is pretty poignant. So sometimes you have to think more creatively and like be curious. Like that video we saw last week where the kids found that tape. Like somebody could get to a Randonaut point and find an old dusty VHS tape and think, oh, I didn't find anything. But they actually went through with it and like fixed the tape, and it ended up matching their expectation of the intention exactly. So sometimes you have to be a little creative and use your imagination. And also, if you're with people who don't really believe in it, like that can kind of bring the vibe down a little bit. So that's my advice. And always chain 3 points together. Don't just go to 1 point. The rule of thumb is to like chain 3 points together. So go do one random point, then set your location from there and do another one, and so on and so forth. And remember, it's not just the exact point, it's the whole radius around it. Now in the app, we have the actual radius. You can see the radius, and so you can explore the radius. And so it's an actually general zone. And it's not just about the point. When you're chaining points together, you're breaking your normal routine. You're going places you never would have gone before. So I would suggest chaining points together and going to a new place and making sure that the people are all on the same wavelength and like kind of focus together. Because if you have one person who's totally into it and another person who's kind of like, oh, I don't care, like they'll kind of bring the vibe down a little bit.
Yeah, I think the whole chaining points together is it's a strong part of that, because like sometimes you're not getting the full story, you're not getting the full answer. You might get a little part of it that seems like nothing when you're there, like, oh, I noticed this, that's not really related to it. But then you go to 2 more points and you realize, wait, but from point 3 to point 1 and then point 2, like this, that kind of all is connected somehow,
right?
And then kind of maybe go along with what you were looking for.
A good example is like David, our producer. Like when I first flew down to Florida to meet the Presley Media folks, we went randonauting, and it like didn't take us to the point exactly. Like Google Maps like glitched, and it told us to take a turn and just like go in a circle. So we just followed that, and it had nothing to do with Randonautica. It just like Google Maps glitched. And so we actually deviated from our journey. And as we turned, we see this pool, and it was like overflowing. And it's like, that was like kind of weird, like an overflowing pool. But as soon as we were talking about this overflowing pool, David actually got a call from his pool guy. So it was like just such a weird coincidence. So don't just focus on the actual exact point. It's the whole journey that's random. And so pay attention and use your eyes and ears. And also, maybe you're not like getting out of your car. You're just like going there and you're like, oh, there's nothing here. You have to actually be curious and get out and explore and like deviate from your journey. Like if if your random point is over there, but you see something interesting over there, by all means, go follow your intuition and find that interesting thing that interests you. Don't just go by Randonautica. Like just use it as a tool to explore the world.
Yeah. And don't trespass.
Yeah. Don't trespass for sure.
All right. So Jennifer Sample says, when Google Maps glitched, did the voice change? That happened to me twice.
I don't remember if it changed. I just remember that like we were going straight down a street and there was no reason to turn or anything, and it like just made us take a left and then just like loop back around and go back on our path. Like it just like wanted to show us the overflowing pool for some reason, which just happened to coincide with David's pool guy just calling him randomly. Like that one was just like, I wish we got that on video. It's just like so hard to capture some of this stuff because it's like you don't know really what you're looking for or what's going to happen. Like, so I could definitely identify with like how hard it is to capture some of this on film.
Iron Dogger says, I will pay attention to other surroundings, etc. Thanks for the tips.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Good luck to you. And just be consistent and just make it part of your routine. Like, especially if you're somewhere where you've never been before, or like if you're out running groceries or out running errands, just like, oh, I'll do a Randonaut point real quick and just see what, and don't go into it with too many expectations. Just be like curious, like, I wonder what's at this random point. Like, Yeah. Do you remember that lady standing dramatically still and looking into nothingness? Yes, I do remember that. So that actually happened to me at the owl bar that like I previously was talking about. When it took me to the burrowing owl, there was just a dude standing in the middle of the street, just standing out, just looking into nothing, like he was totally like an NPC or something. Like people have reported that quite a bit, just like people just sitting there standing, staring into nothingness. It's so strange. I have no explanation for that. Sometimes it's just a mystery.
Is it also true, like, not only people, hasn't there also been like dogs and things like that, things that are just like completely just...
There's a video of a dog that's just like frozen. No explanation. I don't know. Glitch in the simulation, I guess.
Yeah.
So sorry if I pronounced this wrong. Ellis Meme 77. Why shouldn't we use this app during the night? Okay. So this like isn't necessarily a hard and fast rule. Like if you are personally responsible and you bring a flashlight and you're safe, you can go randonauting at night if you want. I personally would not, because you can't see anything. Like, how are you going to notice like talking walls or little bitty synchronicities if it's dark? Like, you're not going to notice. Like, you're just going to spook yourself out. I did go randonauting at night like once, and it was like one of the spookiest things that ever happened to me at night. It's just kind of creepy and weird. Like, all you're going to do is get creeped out. You're not actually going to have a mind-bending experience because it's just like you can't see anything. How can you notice a synchronicity if it's all dark? But when I went randonauting at night, like it took me to this bar that was like super shady, and I like had to get out of there. Like I drank one beer and I was out of there because it was just like really sketchy, and I felt like I didn't belong.
Creepy, man. Be a one beer.
Yeah, and it was in like a really bad part of town where I've like seen someone get shot. So I was like just not in a good mood to go there.
Also, like randonauting at night, like it makes you look kind of, for your own safety, I feel like, because if Randonaut takes you to a random neighborhood and you're walking through, if it's the middle of the day, people aren't going to think too much. If you're randonauting at 12:30, 1 in the morning, and then you're like walking around in this cul-de-sac, and people like, that's for your own safety too, because then all of a sudden you look suspect, even though you're not really doing anything wrong. It looks shady. Things just look shadier at night. People are more on edge. So
people just want to keep the neighborhood safe for the kids. And then if you got a guy walking around, like, who knows what he's looking at, and he's peeking in people's fences and stuff, looking for synchronicities, like, it's definitely a lot more sketchy. So I would say go during the day, bring a garbage bag, start picking up litter. No one's going to look at you weird if you do that. So Stephanie Richardson, I went with a skeptic once and I threw out Pokemon to get them to participate. I've never been so happy to see a Pokemon bumper sticker. That's awesome. So their intention like actually manifested. So this is a little weird though. Like, I think we talked about this before, like the matter of consent when you're bringing someone out of their probability tunnel. Like, you know, you should probably, I mean, not, you know, just surprise someone with randonauting, because like you're changing their deterministic fate. You know what I mean? You're opening them up for a cascade of like changes throughout their life, like good or bad. Like things can happen years down the line that happen because you went randonauting. But I guess it's a good way to get somebody to go.
Stephanie, yeah. Like, so like when you said that you skeptic one time to throw, when you threw out Pokemon, were you saying like, oh, let's go randonauting, man, I can't even say the own thing. Were they kind of like, I don't want to go? I'm like, okay, what if we make the intention Pokemon to get them? Are they big fans? Or did you trick them in saying, hey, let's go play Pokemon Go to get them to do it? I guess kind of is my question. Is like, was it, were they aware that they were randonauting when you did it? If you let us know in the comments or whatever, and we can take another question. But I'm interested to know if it was, so Iron Dogger says, does anyone notice any differences with having a dog or pet with them and when setting intentions?
When I found the legendary drum artifact with my first attractor ever, I was actually with my dog. It also helps you blend in because it's like, oh, you're just taking your dog for a walk. I ended up not bringing my dog as much just because it's kind of a hassle, and you got to like take care of your dog, and you can't get to certain places because you've got a dog. And so I personally have not noticed, but that's a good question. Has anyone else noticed a difference in your intentions when you bring a pet? Okay, so it was her husband. So we
Okay.
can totally write that off. So
Cool,
yeah,
that's fine. Yeah. Pretend like it's Pokemon with
okay.
alternate
So yeah,
realities. Cool.
that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's actually pretty common. I've heard people use that before. Like, okay, just think about it like it's Pokemon. So
Yeah.
that's a good tip. If someone's kind of on the fence, just be like, it's like Pokemon Go.
Yeah. Treat it like this, and then we'll go out. At the very least, we'll go have some fun. Then do something
Right.
different for the day.
Right.
So Mateo's asked, my maps glitched when I was doing Randonautica 2. It looked like the fixed destination kept moving. It felt like the destination would come to me without me going there.
Wow. So that's pretty weird. I've had some weird glitches too. Like, I don't know why, but I have no explanation for that because that's all on Google's end, you know? But what I wonder if it was the maps in Randonautica or the maps in Google that actually glitched.
Yeah.
But yeah, people always report like their phones glitching and stuff like that, and they'll use that as like evidence of their phone being hacked or something. Like, no, we don't hack your phone, but people do. Like, if you get super emotionally charged, your phone can start acting weird and start like shutting off. Like, I think a lot of people have had that experience where they like are so like pissed off or so emotionally charged that their like computer stops working or their cell phone stops working. I think it could have something to do with the energy, like that it just like fries your phone and like your phone doesn't know what to do because, you know, these things are built like, especially like your autocorrect keyboard is built for like a person of a certain vibe, you know what I mean? And I feel like sometimes I get so high vibe, like my autocorrect like won't even work. Like it's just like and I have to like get on my laptop to physically type it out because my autocorrect won't work.
So we know that like people are generating the location using Randonautica, and more often than not, they're using Google Maps to actually GPS themselves to that location. Have you tried using any other GPS service other than Google Maps to see if there's any differences? Have you tried anything wacky, like looking up generating the point and then printing the directions off MapQuest and then just going off paper route to get there?
I have not. That's pretty interesting. I know that I've gone without my phone and I wanted to see like what would happen. Like I set my intention, I got the point, and then I went out completely without my phone, and I had a very interesting experience doing that. So this is our last call. If anyone else has any questions, please just leave a comment and we'll get back to you with an answer. But yeah, another good way to like camouflage yourself if you're like feeling weird about going randonauting and you feel out of place, like is to buy like one of these hoodies or like the hat or something. So if somebody asks you like, hey, what are you doing? You can be like, I'm randonauting. Like, see, it's like a thing, you know, people will like understand more. Cool.
Yeah. Let's take one more question here. I don't understand the theories behind Randonautica.
Okay, so there are a lot of theories, and it goes back decades. The amount of research that goes into Randonautica goes back decades. I mean, we absolutely stand on the shoulders of giants. If you go to randonautica.com, there is information available, and also on the subreddit, there's an updated theory page. So we have a Randonaut theory available if you'd like to read it. But there's also the Guide to Randonautica coming out this summer. So if you pre-order this, you'll get free subscription for 3 months if you're a first-time subscriber. And this will answer a lot of the questions you have about the theories, like going into like the Global Consciousness Project or other parapsychology experiments. And we go into a lot of like the mind-machine interaction history and explain kind of like how the algorithm works and stuff like that. So I would definitely recommend pre-ordering the book if you're curious about the theories. We worked really hard on it and like put our heart and soul into it. And plus it has a log in the back. So it's like a tool and you can take it with you while you're randonauting to kind of keep track of your synchronicities and stuff. And you can reference the frequently asked questions as well. So yeah, just like I said, the pre-order, just go anywhere that books are sold. You can pre-order the book, and it comes with 3 months free subscription to anyone who's not subscribed yet. That's available on our website. If you go to our website, you'll have a link to pre-order.
All right.
So yeah, if you haven't become a Randonautica Pro subscriber, I definitely recommend it. we have some really cool stuff coming up. Instead of just being able to watch the Randonautica content across the world, because we're doing it like kind of like a decentralized fashion where you had to go to YouTube or TikTok or whatever, we're actually going to be putting the Randonautica content in the app. And that's going to roll out first to all the subscribers. So if you want to participate in the little hive we've got going where it's like just randonauts and not people who are just watching and skeptics, then definitely become a Randonaut Pro subscriber. And we're also going to have new features like shared anomaly, where you get to go randonauting with a friend no matter where they are. Yeah, thank you guys so much. We're an unfunded grassroots movement. We chose not to take venture capital because they were like wanting to make the app addictive and put all these ads and stuff in there. We're not about that. Like every dollar you guys spend on the merch or on the book or on the subscriptions, it goes to paying our people and putting food in people's mouths. And, you know, we're doing this for the love, not for the money. So thank you guys so much for your support. All of your contributions are really meaningful, and we love hearing your journeys. If you have a good trip report, make sure you tag the hashtag #RandonautRadar so we can put it in the newsletter. It's one of my favorite things to read people's reports. We genuinely just love randonauting. So share your story with us, and you might make it on here, or you might make it on the newsletter in the app. Thank you so much, Derek, for joining me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Just to let everybody know at home that we are off next week, and we'll be back on different day. We'll be on Wednesday, the March 24th at 4 p.m. So a different day, different time slot.
Yeah.
We're off next week, but hopefully you guys tune in and check it out. And
yeah, but then
have some fun with it.
from then on, we'll be doing it every week. We're just taking this 1 week off. So yeah, pre-order the guide to Randonautica, become a Randonaut Pro subscriber, go to our website and buy the merch. And thank you so much for your support.